We are back with part 2, what we would trade every top 12 quarterback for. Last pod, we talked about Josh Allen, CJ Stroud, Lamar Jackson, Caleb Williams, Anthony Richardson, and Justin Herbert. So let's rip right into it for this one. Nate, Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback 2.
Yeah, not the quarterback 1 anymore. That's Josh Allen, as we talked about last podcast. Man, I'm holding Mahomes forever. It's like having Peyton Manning on your team before, Drew Brees or Tom Brady. Why move? Why move one of these guys? You know he's going to be a top 10 quarterback for the next decade. I mean, if you can move him and get another top 5 quarterback and something on top, sure. That could be nice. Another guy you feel is going to be around for a long time. But Mahomes, we already know he's a future Hall of Famer. We already know what he's done. And I talked about it in the Josh Allen segment. He lost Tyreek Hill, and everyone's like, oh, Mahomes going to, what's Mahomes going to be without Tyreek Hill? Won the MVP that next year, had a career high in passing yards, the second most passing touchdowns of his career, only behind the 50 that he had in his breakout year. So Mahomes is just, different than any other quarterback. He's a guy that is going to consistently give you lots of fantasy points. Was a down year last year and finished the quarterback 8. So it's hard to move on from Patrick Mahomes.
Down year, and he's a top 10 quarterback. It's just funny to think about it.
Exactly. But if we are moving Patrick Mahomes to place some value on him, I need Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, and I need something on top of that. And I'm looking for like Bryce Young, Baker Mayfield on top of that. I'm looking for a absolute stud wide receiver, and give me a quarterback that, is kind of a value, a lower tier quarterback that I believe in, at least has a couple years of play time and some upside from there. So Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, give me one of those guys, and then throw Baker Mayfield or Bryce Young, maybe you're a Will Levis fan, something around that value at the quarterback position. Or maybe if you don't need one other quarterback. Maybe you got 3 quarterbacks, 4 quarterbacks, and you're looking to move off Mahomes because you've got a nice stable of quarterbacks waiting behind him. Jahmyr Gibbs, Rome Odunze, and give me a second-round pick on top of it, maybe a first, honestly, because we're talking about Patrick Mahomes here still. But I think Gibbs, Odunze, like a second is a pretty decent, fair value there. Mike, what do you think?
I don't hate this at all. I mean, obviously the hold forever is going to be – he's one of those guys that you let die on your roster, kind of like Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
They're so good, and then – him and Kelsey, and there's other guys that they're just going to be good until they're like, hey, I'm done. But yeah, he's obviously, you're going to get a lot for a guy like Patrick Mahomes. I'm looking on Player Profiler. He's only missed 2 games in his career for injury, and that was back in 2019. But yeah, I love these trades that you put together. Oh, and hey, look who's next. Joe Burrow, the quarterback 6. And hey, am I going to sell? No, I like Joe Burrow. However, if there's an awesome deal awaiting in my inbox, I'm going to at least look at it. Do yourself a favor. Even if you're locked in on a player, like I love player whatever, player X, like Nate probably doesn't want to move on from Mark Andrews. You have those guys that you like. Look at the offer. Consider the offer. The only person you're doing a disservice if you just immediately reject the trade is yourself. Ideally, I'm going to want to upgrade to another top 12 quarterback somehow if I can. But again, I will downgrade to a guy like Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, a Dak Prescott. Kyler Murray's on this list, but he's another guy that I could see making the move to go from Joe Burrow to Kyler Murray. And in one quarterback league, I'm still going to want a good startable wide receiver, a good startable running back, something. I don't think you could get like a Breece Hall or an A.J. Brown or something like that for Joe Burrow in a one quarterback league.
No, because in one quarterback leagues, I think you kind of value the rushing upside of quarterbacks a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just because you have that ability. When you're only starting one, you really are shooting for upside.
I don't want to sell Burrow, but that being said, I will listen to any good offers for him, of course. Let's move on to our next guy. Are you selling quarterback 5, Jalen Hurts?
Maybe. Look, Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, both locked down into long-term deals. I like that a lot for Jalen Hurts. There's a new offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore, who over his 5 years as an offensive coordinator is in the 80th percentile in both pass attempts and yardage, Mike, among team rankings over the past 5 years. So this is a guy that likes to throw the ball a lot. So that means he's like consistently top 10 in pass attempts per year and pass yardage per year for his offenses. So we're going to see really exciting things this year out of Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, and A.J. Brown. I'm buying back into the Eagles offense. They're going to have a rebound after after, a really tough end to the year last year. But Jalen Hurts, I expect big things out of him this year, but also Jason Kelce left. I don't expect as many push touchdowns as he had before. I don't think that's going to be necessarily their strategy as often as it was. Jason Kelce definitely had a large part of that and making that successful so consistently. So Saquon Barkley is going to steal a couple more rushing touchdowns. The passing goes up. What that means for me is, I'm not looking to necessarily sell Jalen Hurts, but also I'd be willing to move off of him if I can get a good offer. And without getting a quarterback back, a trade I put together that I'd be okay with is Jonathan Taylor and Jalen Waddle. So give me a stud running back, give me a stud wide receiver. I can make sure that my lineup is set to go, contend for a championship. I'm hopefully have other quarterback depth in my team. But, if I'm moving one of these top quarterbacks, I need good players back. And then in one quarterback, we'll just do it just for Jonathan Taylor. How about that?
And I will say, I think you're just going to see a lot of really efficient passes from Jalen Hurts this year just because of Kellen Moore coming in. I think the ball's going to come out faster. The offense is going to be better at disguising what they're doing. It was very bad last year. And you know what? Hey, shame on us for thinking Brian Johnson's been in the building. We're just going to go right from Shane Steichen to Brian Johnson, and it's going to be all good. It was not all good. As a matter of fact, it was all bad. All right, Nate, let's move on. And I'm going to talk about a guy, I mentioned him earlier, and this is Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray, quarterback 11. I'm actually trying to buy Kyler Murray right now if I possibly can. He looked pretty good when he came back from that injury last year, and I really like what the Cardinals are doing out there in Arizona. Jonathan Gannon's got that team playing really tough football, strong run game. This team could be tough for a while. You know what I mean? I kind of like it. Kyler's the trigger man here. Nate, do you happen to know what Kyler Murray did last year on a points per game basis?
I want to say about 20 points. He actually had a really good end to the season coming off the ACL injury.
He did have a really good. It was 18.9. I was looking at fantasy calc for this one because I kind of had a hard time coming up with some good values for Kyler Murray. These are legitimate fantasy calculator trades that I found people doing, and they were recent. They were within the last week. In a super flex league, Matthew Stafford and Devin Singletary. I'll make that move for Kyler Murray. Yeah. And then we had somebody moved Garrett Wilson for Devonta Smith and Kyler Murray.
I don't think you can make these trades happen in your league, but if you can, or anything close to them, you're going to be very, very happy.
They did happen in one league because they're on
they
here.
Did.
And if for one quarterback trades, I saw somebody did a 25-second and a third for Kyler Murray. Here's an interesting one because I don't know how I feel about this. Drake London for Kyler Murray and Cooper Kupp.
In a one quarterback league.
In a one quarterback.
I think that's pretty fair.
Kupp coming off the injury, he's a little bit older, but still, this is another guy when he's on the field. You know what I mean? So I do think it's fair. I just hate aging up in the wide receiver department there, going from London to Kupp. But you never know. Cooper Kupp could always have another top 10 season in him.
Yeah, so definitely possible.
Nate, we each have one more. Let's go to Washington. Jayden Daniels, quarterback 12. What are you doing? Buying, selling, holding? Are you avoiding? I don't think you can avoid him. What are you doing?
Am I selling? Yes. Yes, I am. Kind of a similar thing to Anthony Richardson here. Just too much risk at the quarterback 12 for me. Mike, I just noticed that Dak Prescott's not on this list. Obviously, I didn't fill the show sheet out for him, so I should have known. But I just noticed that he's the quarterback 15. Give me Dak Prescott over Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, there's a couple guys that – and here's the thing. I understand you got Caleb Williams, you got Jayden Daniels, you got Anthony Richardson. We like these guys, but sometimes just give me the proven talent, man.
It's fun to chase upside, but it's also risky. And, the Commanders don't have a great track record with quarterbacks. I do think Daniels is also a bit of a riskier quarterback. He's a guy that relied a lot on running and scrambling last year, and when he got into open field, he got hit and got hit hard a lot of times. And also, we're making fun of Michael Penix and Bo Nix for being older quarterback prospects. Jayden Daniels is too.
He is.
He is an older quarterback prospect. So one of the questions I have surrounding Jayden Daniels is how much more can he develop from what we saw last year with LSU? Obviously, a really good season, Heisman winner. Not here to poo-poo on Jayden Daniels. But at quarterback 12, a little bit too high of value for me. The rushing upside is really great for fantasy football. I think he's actually a really good value right now in redraft leagues where he's going, quarterback 20 or so. I think he has a great value there. In your home leagues, go pick up Jayden Daniels late. I think that's a great move. But I'm not convicted yet on his long-term viability, especially at this kind of value. I mean, and I'm totally fair for not being convicted on any rookie quarterback's long-term value, because look at the 2021 NFL draft, Mike. We had 5 quarterbacks go in the first round. We were all excited about all of them, and only one of them is still on their team, and that's Trevor Lawrence. So, you know, we had a lot of quarterbacks in this draft. Not all of them are going to work out. I don't know who's going to come out on the other side, but Jayden Daniels, I think he's, you know, right there with the other guys, you know, in being a risky quarterback long term. So let's see if he can develop. But until then, give me a guy like Dak Prescott, or maybe I can get another older rookie quarterback like Bo Nix. Give me JSN on top of him, or maybe Bryce Young and give me James Cook on top of them. Those are 2 quarterbacks and a running back and a wide receiver I'd want to package together if I was moving off of Jayden Daniels. And in one quarterback leagues where, once again, I'm a bit more into having Jayden Daniels in a one quarterback league because I can eat the risk a little bit more. But if I am looking to move him, James Cook once again, straight up, or Christian Kirk in a third, something similar to that.
Hey guys, Bob here, dropping by to interrupt your scheduled programming to introduce today's trusted partner, Aura. A lot of our focus here at the Dynasty Rewind is protecting our dynasty assets and taking care of the long-term vision. What drew us to Aura is that they reflect this mindset, but with the most important assets in your life. Have you ever received a spam call or a suspicious email? I know I have. And it's not just annoying, it's a sign of a much larger problem. Behind these unwanted calls and emails lie data brokers, which are websites that buy and sell your personal information without your consent. Not great, Bob. I recently did a search for my own name online and was shocked and quite frankly disgusted at my information popping up over multiple data broker websites. And that's when I realized just how vulnerable I was to online threats. But that's where Aura comes in. They're more than just an online security service. They're your personal bodyguard in the digital world. Aura actively identifies which data brokers are selling your information and takes action by sending out opt-out requests on your behalf. Not only does this cut down on all those annoying spam emails and phone calls, but it also shields you and your loved ones from potential cyber threats and hackers. And they don't just stop at the protection. They offer unparalleled convenience as well. With their comprehensive suite of tools, you can safeguard your online presence with ease from an app or your desktop, whichever you prefer. I've made the choice to take my online privacy seriously. And with Aura by my side, I have the peace of mind to focus on what really matters. Dynasty Fantasy Football. Just kidding. But if you value your privacy as much as I do, don't wait any longer. Check out Aura today and take control of your online privacy. Go to aura.com/Dynasty Rewind and take a free 2-week trial on us. 14 days to get the full experience, get in on all the tools, and really experience everything Aura has to offer. You can find that link on your screen, in the YouTube description box, or in the pinned comment below. But hey, with all that said, thank you all so much for listening. Now, let's get back to the content you came for.
Let's talk about one more guy, and that's our quarterback 9. Jordan Love. Nate, am I selling? No. But I will entertain offers because, hey, you're only doing yourself a disservice if you don't. It's going to take a lot to get Jordan Love away from me. I will say that. And Nate, you were right about something. The cheapest time to acquire a player is in the rookie draft. Time's gone by. Remember, we told you to buy Jordan Love a little bit ago. Could have done it cheap before he was a starter. And now, sorry, you're paying up. He's a young up-and-coming quarterback with a great up-and-coming wide receiver room and tight end room. I mean, he's got an offensive-minded head coach. What's not to love about Jordan Love? You got Jaden Reed out there, maybe Christian Watson. You know, I know he had some hamstring injuries. And I love what Christian Watson did in the offseason. Like, look, there's an issue here. How can I fix it? That shows a lot. He didn't just jog around and go, yeah, I'm just going to stretch and I'll be better for next year. He went in depth and did something about it. They got Romeo Doubs out there. They got Dontavian Wicks. They got Luke Musgrave, and they got Tucker Kraft. There are weapons in Green Bay. They got that running back, Marshawn Lloyd. There we go. Hey, look, I know how to remember stuff after all. And then they got Josh Jacobs there too. Can't forget about A.J. Dillon. He's still getting a paycheck from the Green Bay Packers for now. So I love what this offense is doing. But look, the fact of the matter is, if you're coming for him on my team because I'm holding, I'm going to need, hey, if it's a non-top 12 quarterback, Goff, Dak. If I'm trading way down to like a Bryce Young or something like that, we're throwing a lot of plus assets on it. And then Jordan Love is the only good asset on my team. And in one quarterback league, I want a top tier talent. I want an A.J. Brown. I want a Jalen Waddle. Look, it's going to take a lot.
You might want to get a Jalen Waddle. I don't think you can get an A.J. Brown, though.
You know, maybe I add something to Jordan Love to get it. Because it's one of those things. It's okay to add pieces to tier up positionally, right? It's okay to do those things too. I'm adding a draft pick on top of it, but I'm getting a stalwart wide receiver, I'm going to do it. But the fact of the matter is Jordan Love's going to be on my team for a long time. He's still young. That's all we got for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed listening to us wax poetically about the top 12 quarterbacks. If you want to hear more awesome content, patreon.com/Dynasty Rankings. We're giving you guys a week for free. But until next time, for Nate, I'm Mike. Thank you for listening.